guys. Good morning and happy Saturday. It is Saturday, February 25th. Now, this is just a quick Pocket with Joe. We're going to do 2 Pockets with Joe today, just like we did last weekend. We have 3 games on the board that kick off early. I want to make sure you guys got these bets, and then I will be back with another Pocket Up for the rest of these games. So let's kick off the first 3 games on the board. We have the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. This one kicks off at the bottom of the hour here. So you have 20 minutes left to get this bet in. Now, Columbus coming in as a large underdog at home at plus 202. You guys know I took Columbus to get that win over the Minnesota Wild. Now, what we saw in that game is Minnesota walk away with a 2-0 win. Absolutely, they came out with the win, but did Columbus do a phenomenal job in the second and third period? They absolutely did. They were able to hold the Wild down while not able to get any more goals. So I'm expecting Columbus to come out strong in this one. Yes, Edmonton is a different beast than the Minnesota Wild. Edmonton has such a stronger offensive ability to get these goals. Now, the downfall of Edmonton that we didn't see in the Wild is their defense. Defense is crumbling for the Edmonton Oilers. They're allowing 3.24 goals per game and 31.8 shots on goal. This team needs to make a change before the trade deadline. They need to get someone who can play defensively. This team's just not getting that production on this team with however these lineups are. And that's nothing against their defensive players individually. This is something is happening. They're not able to get things done. So Skinner expected in goal for the Edmonton Oilers here. They have the Bruins back at home on Monday coming up in their schedule. Now, looking at the schedule for the Columbus Blue Jackets, they have the Wild back on deck tomorrow. This is not a team they want to play right away, but they're going to have to play the Wild. I'm expecting Corpostello to come out here really strong. And when we look at his numbers, you guys, I have to write him over 30.5 save shots on goal. This is coming in at minus 122, so it is a little juice. But when we look at Corpostello, he's allowed only 4 goals on 92 shots on goal in the last 3 games that he has taken the ice. So I think Corpostello should have a big game here. We know Edmonton will be getting that puck like crazy at Corpostello. Corpostello, like I said, did fantastic against the Wild. Edmonton is averaging 33.4 shots on goal, and we have a Columbus Blue Jackets team here that is allowing 34.6. So Edmonton is going to get over their average shots on goal. I expect Edmonton to hit closer to 40 shots on goal in this one. Corpostello over 30.5 save shots on goal at minus 122, I think is a beautiful way to go at this game. Now, with this total being so high at 7, it's really hard to take anything to do with Edmonton, especially versus a team that's allowing these goals to come in like this, to take it under the number. So I'm going to stay off. I could see this one staying under that number. I also could see in some way, because it's lower, I think that the Columbus Blue Jackets can keep it tight. The plus 1.5 is coming in at minus 115. I do think there is value. The last time these teams played in January, Columbus was actually able to get that win. It was a 3-2 win by the Columbus Blue Jackets. Corpostello was in net. I remember watching this one. He absolutely stood on his head. So we need a huge day out of Corpostello. It's going to be a good one. John, thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for your tip. That's very nice of you. Very much appreciated. So thank you. Let's move on to the next game. Yeah, so in this one, it's hard to take that over, you guys, because like we saw with the Buffalo Sabres and the Florida Panthers last night, sometimes when you look at these games and they should go over, they just don't. Edmonton should go over today. I don't think they will. I think it's all because of Corpostello. And you got to remember, this is an early day game as well in this one here, kicking off at 12:30 Eastern. Edmonton is from Alberta. That Alberta time is 10:30. So I think we're going to see a less explosive offensive production out of the Edmonton Oilers, but enough that those goals are coming, or those pucks are coming at Corpostello. So Oilers in regulation at plus 160, I don't hate. I think the Oilers probably could get the win here. Yeah, I was wondering, minus 160. Oilers probably get the win over the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think it's a low scoring one. I do like the Columbus Blue Jackets plus 1.5 at minus 115, Benji. I also do like the under in this game at that number 7. I can't hit it over. And then I also like Corpostello over 30.5 save shots on goal. That's my favorite bet of this whole game. It is a goalie prop in this one. Let's move on to the next game on the board. Next game on the board, we have the New York Rangers taking on the Washington Capitals. Oh my God, both these teams are so desperate for the win. Washington has lost, ready? How many do you think? Their last 6 games. New York Rangers coming in here losing their last 3. Now, Igor Shesterkin expected for the Rangers. Darcy Kemper expected here for the Washington Capitals. Now, Ovi is back, and Ovi was back in that last game that they lost to the Ducks. That was a 4-2 loss on Thursday. The Washington Capitals have been at home. They hit the road tomorrow to face the Buffalo Sabres. And when we look at the New York Rangers, they've lost their last 3. Their last game was to the Red Wings. They weren't able to get any offensive production on the Red Wings, which was surprising. They lost that one 4-1. The LA Kings are on deck for them tomorrow at home. So both of these teams will be traveling. The Rangers traveling home, the Capitals headed out to Buffalo for tomorrow. Now, this is the first game, so then it makes sense. This is the first game of the back-to-back for both of these teams. Now, this is a battle of the Metro here. The Rangers 3rd, the Capitals 6th, both desperate for a win. So I don't think either team is looking ahead to say, okay, tomorrow's game is the more important one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at who I think is going to come out stronger to start this game. I'm going to lean on the Washington Capitals on the money line in the first period only. Don't get me wrong. I think the Washington Capitals are not the better team of this matchup. I think the New York Rangers are the best team here. But I expect the Capitals on home ice here to come out very strong in this one. I expect the crowd support of a morning day game in Washington to be there for this team and them to come out early and strong in that first period. So taking the Capitals in the first period is giving you beautiful plus money in that first period. And the Rangers, they have struggled in times in that first period, losing their last 4 first periods. I'm seeing the Capitals on the money line on FanDuel plus 220. Don't think that number is right, but if you're seeing a number like that, man, it's crazy. That's just what I'm seeing on FanDuel at the moment. So let me know what you're seeing for Capitals in that first period on the money line, because they're only plus 125 for the full game, minus 150 here for the New York Rangers. So I think it is a nice solid way. And remember, the Capitals won the last matchup back in December. They got the shutout win 4-0 over the New York Rangers, so they definitely can beat this team. Now, looking at a couple of players who I think could be productive in this game, we got to look at Chris Kreider here for the anytime goal for the New York Rangers. Definitely think he comes out strong. And Ovechkin. I'm going to take Ovechkin for the anytime goal for the Washington Capitals. He's coming in at plus 112. Now, remember, when you look at this game, the New York Rangers, although the better team, they have struggled in Washington. They're 2-9 in their last 11 games in Washington, so they have had those struggles. The Washington Capitals here at home might just be the way to go for the full game. I'm just going to lean on them that first period. Hope they come out nice and strong in that first period. And then the Rangers end up winning. But I want that first period money, you guys. The last game that we're going to talk about on this show, remember, we'll do all the other ones later. I just haven't finished capping them, to be honest with you guys. I'm only on my second French press, so it's sitting here waiting for me after we're done this. And then I'm going to go over the rest of these games. So, and I'll set up a notification for you guys. So the Pittsburgh Penguins and the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis, a home dog in this one at plus 130. This team has been selling off bits and pieces left, right, and center. And the Pittsburgh Penguins coming in here at minus 156. Expected to start Casey DeSmith. Now, the biggest red flag here for me for the Pittsburgh Penguins is they're expected to start Casey DeSmith and not Tristan Jarry. I think this is going to be a hard game for Casey DeSmith. He and Jordan Binnington have the same record. They both have a 3.28 goals against average on the season. Which goalie do I trust more? It's Jordan Binnington. But can I trust the St. Louis Blues team, who is, they're averaging 3.02 goals per game, allowing 3.64 though against the Pittsburgh Penguins, who have been putting up the goals as of late. They have been playing some strong hockey. They've been allowing the goals as of late. we have seen them in certain situations put up some goals and do well, but they have been, sorry, things just glitched on my computer. I don't know if you guys just saw that big flash. We'll see what happened there. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they've lost those last 4. They're allowing these goals to come in. And we look at the St. Louis Blues, this team just isn't themselves. They're going through huge issues. They're going to be changing things up. But I do think with Jordan Binnington in goal, we can expect a tighter game out of these two teams. I'm going to look at a couple of things. I do think the team total of the St. Louis Blues is worth looking at, and looking at that over the 2.5. It's coming in a little juiced at minus 145-ish. For the over 2.5 for the St. Louis Blues, but we look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they haven't been winning, but they've been allowing these goals to come in. They allowed 7 in their last game, 4 in the one before, 5 and 5. So they've allowed 21 goals in 4 games. That's an allowed average of 5.25 goals per game. So asking the St. Louis Blues to come out here and get 3 goals, I don't think is asking too much in this one. John, you are seeing that at plus 220. It's crazy to take the Capitals in the first period at plus 220. Fingers crossed that they get it done. Happy Saturday, Kev and Joe. You are welcome for the morning, your morning show. Hard game predict by the under 6.5 at minus 150. Which game, Benji, are you talking about there? The Capitals and the Rangers. I get to see that. The Capitals and the Rangers, it's really interesting. They are trending towards that under when they meet in Washington. So I do think it probably stays under that number. And I would buy it up to that 6.5 if you're liking the under instead of hitting on the 6 at minus 150. I think it is worth the extra juice on that one. It should be a back and forth battle. We know both defenses can play some strong hockey, but I do think we see Ovechkin come out nicely in this one. Chris Kreider come out nicely. So that's where I'm going with that. Back to the Blues and the Penguins. I think this one goes over the total 6.5. I really do with what the Penguins have allowed. And we know the Penguins can get the goals. And that's what I mean about this team. They've been giving up too many. They've been limited in certain situations. They've lit up the net in others. They've dominated also in St. Louis and against St. Louis, winning the last 4 meetings. St. Louis, if you believe in this team on the money line, is really attractive. I don't want to take it after having faith in the Columbus Blue Jackets as a home dog versus the Wild. I think this is a similar situation where if St. Louis comes out to play, Jordan Binnington has a strong night, they pull off the win. I'm not willing to put my money there. I think the best bet is that team total over 2.5 because I do expect the Penguins to allow the goals. But I think you can take the full game over 6.5 because I do expect the Penguins to put the goals in the back of Jordan Binnington's net as well. I just trust Jordan Binnington more to limit those goals than I do Casey DeSmith. So that is where I'm going with that. So quick recap, you guys. Edmonton and Columbus, you got 10 minutes before this one kicks off. I think the best bet in this one is to take Corpostello over 30.5 save shots on goal. Like I said, in his last 3 games on the ice, he has only allowed 4 goals. 2 of those were to the Wild in the last game out on 92 shots on goal. He is playing absolutely phenomenal. He's playing lights out. He's playing for a contract, you guys. That's what this is coming down to. He knows he needs to be somewhere next year, whether it's Columbus or it's on a better team. I'm hoping he goes to a better team. I love what we've seen out of Corpostello. Corpostello had a fantastic game the last time out versus Edmonton too, when the Columbus Blue Jackets got the 3-2 win. So something to note there. Is there value on the Columbus Blue Jackets plus 1.5 on the puck line? Absolutely. That's coming in at minus 115. I do think this is a tight game. I think it stays under that number of 7. I think 7, it's hard with Edmonton to take the under, but we're looking at an Edmonton team having to play during the day. I think those shots will come in. I don't think they will be as hard, as fast as normal. And Corpostello has his day in the sun. Now, if you're looking for a way to bet Edmonton, that first period for Edmonton, we know that's when Edmonton comes out the strongest. Looking at the Columbus Blue Jackets, they have lost their last 6 games in that first period. So first period losses, last 6 for Columbus. Edmonton can come out and turn things on in that first period. So that is when Corpostello allowed those goals to the Wild, was in the first period. It could be a good play on the Edmonton Oilers on the puck line in the first period. So I'll let you guys do what you want with that. The New York Rangers and the Washington Capitals. Rangers are the better team here, you guys, by far, in my opinion, especially with Igor. We've got Igor and Kemper going at it. I'm leaning on the Capitals in the first period only, plus 220 on the money line in the first period for the Washington Capitals. I think they can get things done. I'm looking at Ovechkin for that anytime goal at plus 112. I'm looking at Chris Kreider of the Rangers for the anytime goal as well. This total at 6, I lean to the under. Like Benji said, buying it up to 6.5 minus 150. I don't hate that at all. And then the Pittsburgh Penguins and the St. Louis Blues. Give me the over 6.5 in this one. I do think we see the Penguins allow the goals. We see the Penguins put up the goals. I do trust Jordan Binnington more, so I might get there by the time this one kicks off at 3:30 Eastern. At sprinkling a little bit on the St. Louis Blues, but this is a situation where I hate to take the Blues and then lose my money. So I'm going to take the team total over 2.5 at minus 146. I think it's the safest way to go. There's some minus 144, 145s out there, so shop those lines because it's getting pretty juicy. But I think the over 6.5 is the way to go in this game. So those are all 3 of the games, you guys. We'll do a parlay on the next show. But if I was going to do a parlay, I would take all the dogs plus 1.5 in these matchups, or take all the dogs to plus 2. I think we got tighter games than people are expecting. I don't see any of these favorites blowing them out of the water. So that's what I'm liking. Yeah, Blues have given away everyone. And this is a struggle with the Blues. There's no one left. They are in a rebuild. Edmonton wins in regulation. Washington plus 115, parlay at plus 144. Oh, Washington and Edmonton in regulation. I like it. So, or no, Washington plus 1.5. That's what you're saying. Edmonton wins and Washington plus 1.5. I do like that. I think that one is good. You parlayed the Oilers in regulation. The Blues Pens to score 2. Bench for plus 333. I like it, you guys. I think you guys are on the money there. My favorite bet of this is Corpus-Dello over 30.5, and then the Capitals in that first period. So that's where I'm going with these morning games for my best bets, you guys. I will be back later. Give me about an hour and a half. The second French press needs to be drank, and I have to go over. I've got a couple more games to go over on the slate. If you can't be around later, Calgary first period over the Colorado Avalanche, I think, is money. Colorado played last night. They had to get back home. Now playing Calgary tonight. Calgary is another team. They can get up and then give the bank away. So I'm going to take Calgary in the first period to get the win over Colorado. I know Colorado's at home. I know Colorado dominates Calgary. I know Calgary sucks. But I think Calgary in the first period gets it done. Colorado can win the rest of the game. So that's an early look ahead. I'm also looking at Vegas, you guys. I think Vegas gets the win tonight over the Dallas Stars. It's going to be an absolutely insane game. And I'm also looking at the Sharks to get the win over the Blackhawks. The San Jose Sharks keep digging deep. They're limiting opponents' ability to get these goals as of late. I'm looking to take them big on the puck line at home to cover that 1.5. So those are the early look aheads for tonight's games that I'm looking at. We will be back with another Puck It Up with Joe, 2 o'clock Eastern, noon my time. It's not that late my time. So 2 o'clock Eastern, join me back here. We will go over the rest of these games in further detail. Also, stay tuned to the YouTube because I will be releasing my college basketball 2 quick picks and my cup of Joe when I'm drinking this. And those hit the last 2 days, both of them. Every bet that I gave out in both of those videos the last 2 days have hit. So let's make it a hat trick today, you guys. Join me here. Hit that subscribe, hit that like button. Calgary sucks. I know Calgary sucks, but at least I know my team sucks right now. Hope for future years. Daryl Sutter has to go. I can't say that loud enough, but I feel like Daryl Sutter is actually going to hear me from Colorado saying it here in Calgary because Daryl Sutter is a scary man, and I don't want him coming knocking on my door, but I think it's time. There needs to be changes. So you guys, be back later. Kev, best. The Oilers and the Blue Jackets over 6.5. All the best, Kev. And thank you, Joe. We are making some money on the hardwood, so Hit that like, hit that subscribe. We'll be back with more on the ice. Let's win some puckin' money. You guys have a good one. I will see you back here in 1 hour and 30 minutes.